Welcome to the webinar, and let's just wait a few minutes so that everyone can join, and then we'll start. Okay, I guess we can start, and hopefully maybe more people will join. So again, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. A brief introduction. I'm Veronica, I'm Senior Marketing Manager, and here with me is Farnaz Tepper, Principal Product Manager of PTV Lines. I will do a brief introduction of PTV Group just in case we have someone new today. So PTV Group is a global software company. We have more than 40 years of experience in the fields of mobility, and we provide software products for microscopic and macroscopic modeling and simulation of traffic and real-time traffic management solution. PTV has offices all over the world. The headquarters is in Germany, in Karlsruhe, and I am speaking to you from the Italian office, which is located in Rome. Today we will talk about PTV Lines. PTV Lines is a cloud-based public transport line planning software that allows planners and operators to model public transport routes without having to use complex planning tools. The presentation today will include a brief presentation and introduction to the tool, and then Farnaz will work directly on PTV Lines, so do a live demonstration. You can ask questions during the presentation. If you write them down in the dedicated slots, you can see that there's a slot for questions. You can write them and we will read them at the end, or if you want to speak directly, you can raise your hand at the end of the presentation and I will allow you to speak. Also, I would like to note that the recording of the presentation will be sent to everyone after the webinar is over. So if you want to look at the webinar again, you can do that in the coming days. Okay, then I guess we can start. So please, Farnaz, go ahead.
Thank you, Veronica. I'm really happy to be here. And first of all, I want to thank you for your time. And I just don't want to waste time and show the slides. But at the beginning, it's good to introduce the scope of the tool and maybe the target users and the use cases that we are covering with this tool. So that's why that I just go to the few slides that I have prepared and then I show the tool live to you. Okay. The scope of PTV Lines is, if you consider the public transport planning, we have basically main part planning. One of them is the planning part, which can be the strategic part, but also short time planning. And then after planning, we go to the operational part, which includes also vehicle scheduling, vehicle planning, but also personal planning and drivers. So, and the focus of the PTV Lines is covering the level of the service, which is the network planning and timetable planning. Afterwards, we will be also able to have the vehicle scheduling. Maybe it would be a little bit parallel to the vehicle planning, which is happening in the operational part, especially in the short term. You need to have more flexibility in the vehicle scheduling, but from the strategic perspective, let's say, we need also to have the number of vehicles, which is also be done in the PTV Lines. The users for the tool are the service designers. The service designers in each country can be allocated in some another agency. In some countries, they are sitting in the authorities, transit and public transport authorities. Sometimes they are sitting in the city councils, in the counties, but also operators having the service design planning. Also, sometimes the cities and authorities are giving the tender to the outside, to the consultancy and engineers to have a plan for them. So depends on where you're sitting and where you're planning, you can use the tool. But all in all, I just want to mention that we planned and we built the platform for all the people who are involved in the service planning. They can be the decision makers, the politicians in the municipalities, they can be the operators, but they can be also the strategic planners. So we have a platform that you can exchange the information of the service planning in this platform. And the main users who are doing the service planning are usually currently using Excel and GIS softwares. And this is the aim that we have in the software, to bring all different small platform digital solutions all together in one big picture. And again, the tool is for the people who are involved in the early stage of PT supply planning. It is a collaboration tool that enables everybody to have a common view on this planning. One of the use cases that we are covering in this tool is the network design. The network design can be caused by the long-term redesign if you have a plan for 2026, let's say 2025, for your city that you want to see the capacity of the vehicles, you want to see the demand of your city and change the line routes based on the information that you got, because the social economic image of the city has changed. The age structure has been changed in your city, so you need to change the routes. But it can be also in the midterm in case of construction and detours, or if you have some events planned in your city, that would be also some midterm changes that you want to create different scenarios and compare them with each other in the short time. It can be also the case that you want to reduce the budget. We know that you should always keep the budget, and in this tool you can compare the cost and the benefit service kilometer with the budget that you have. Can be also in the case that the operation contract has been ended and you need to create a new tender and you want to evaluate the, let's say, very beginning cost by yourself and then create the tender. But it can be also the complaints and the feedback from your customers, from the passenger who are using public transport and need some improvement. Another case is that the new development areas has been built in the city, and you need to evaluate different scenarios to expand your transit network for these areas. The other use case is the timetable design based on the head weight that you have in the peak time, afternoon and morning. You need different number of vehicles, and it depends on how many trips you define, and finally, how many passengers do you want to cover. So it's basically the balance between the number of passenger ridership and the cost and number of vehicle you need. Okay. That was basically very brief things I wanted to show you, and let's jump to the software. Exactly, let's start. So you see that I'm in a browser. You don't need any installation. All you need is to have a good internet connection. And this is multi-user tool. This is a platform. You can have different users work simultaneously on same scenario or different scenarios. You can work on some scenario and share it with the stakeholder, with your colleagues, with the decision makers to evaluate it. And it's not a black box anymore, but everybody can see what you are designing and what are the effects of the design that you have. I have prepared some scenarios. I downloaded the GTFS file of Rome, and that's what I want to show you and show some use cases. Let me see this one. Yeah. So you see that I have imported GTFS file. You see the lines on the map, but also the list of the lines and corresponding cost and the production KPI that each lines contain. And what I'm going to do is to do some network changes and show you how easily you can change your line and line routes. Let's say, for example, I have some example. For example, if you want to do some changes on some specific line, let's say in my case, I found a nice example in line 338. I can search it easily. You can see that also stops can be found, but I'm going to find this line. And you see on the can see on the map that this line contains different variants. So if I just hover on them, you can see that I have different variant of them. The one I want to change is this one. So in my example, I want to show you that we need to detour because, for example, in this street, we have a construction area and we need to have a detour from this street to this street. The map that you see behind this application is the here map. It's a routable map. It's not only the visualization. I don't need any specific network for it. I can take the map behind it, like the Google Maps that you know can put A and B and find the shortest path. You can also choose the section that you want to change. So by putting these pins that you see here, you can say you want to have your variant. Let's say before I change anything, I make a duplication of my scenario so I don't change the basic scenario. And then I want to also see the changes that I'm doing and this copy by comparing scenarios. All right. So I created a copy of my original scenario. I'm comparing by changing the network and the services. I can compare also the production KPI and the cost, which I caused by my changes, and this box on the left side here. I haven't changed anything, so everything is 0. But if I start to change it, let's say I want to change my route between this point and this point, and I want to shift it to the side street here. By dragging this street, you can see that I have a detour, and based on the direction, this street and the drivable, you see that I cannot drive here. This is one side street, so the shortest path, the best road is offered to me. Let's say I want to go this direction. All right. What you see is the dashed line is a line road that I had in my origin scenario, and this one shows the new variant. What you can also recognize here is that the stops that I had pointed here to these line roads, you see that they are colored green. They are not assigned to my line route anymore, meaning that by changing the line route, automatically the stop sequence has been updated. If you want, you can also add a new stop. Let's say, for example, if I'm not stopping at this stop, I want to put a temporary stop here. And let's take the name of this stop and rename it. Okay, I don't know whether I cannot click on it, but okay. Maybe it takes some time. So what you can also see on the left side is that I have the stop sequence, and I have the distance and the runtime between the stops I have. Oh, okay, it's working again. So it took a while till the comparison has been done. And maybe I just need to add the new stop. Let's try this way. Okay. Okay, it's working. So I put a temporary stop here. And by this icon, I assign this stop to my line routes. I just delete the other one. Okay. And you see that my temporary stop has been also has been appeared in the stop sequence, and the runtime between the new stop and the previous stop or the next stop has been also calculated. The runtime calculation is based on the speed that you have defined on your transport system. If you want, you can recalculate it by saying that you want to calculate the runtime for this section based on the speed limit and road top that you have behind. Okay, you see that runtime has been calculated, the same one for this, and you see that the speed has been adopted to the route type that you have here. Okay, let's have a look at the KPIs and the indicators that you have here. Okay, it shows that I have decreased the service kilometer I had on my road, so because it's shorter. Also, the travel time has been decreased. The number of vehicles hasn't been changed, and also the corresponding cost has been changed. What I could also check is that I can see some other indicators which are embedded in my scenario. So for example, we take the point of interest from here. We can say that show the number of the schools or hospitals that are covered within the catchment area. So you see that I have bubbles between around my stops. And if I zoom in, you see that also here there has been one school which was covered along this line road, and there is no change by detouring. So it's also an indicator for your decisions maker to say that by changing your line road, you haven't changed the accessibility and reachability for the passengers. Finally, if you want to create nice report, you can also make a screenshot by choosing the part that you want to export as an image. And then you can decide for the detail level if it's going to be, if you want to show more detail on the street, and then you can export it. Okay. Another example is that let's say you want to have a rethink of your whole network. The image of the age structure in your city has been changed. The people got older, and in suburb areas, families are living now, but they don't have access to the schools or hospitals, so, and the transit network is not available in that area. You can, for those changes, to see the changes, you need to have the social economic data as a background. This is what you know as a GIS data. You can upload your data, GIS data, easily here. And what I did is that I downloaded the population of Rome and uploaded in our system. So if I visualize the population, you can see the hexagons here. And I also downloaded the schools from OSM. So you can see the point of interest as the school, and also the hexagons, which shows the population. So let's look at the picture. So you can see how your transit lines are covered within your area, and in case of the changing of the structure, age structure, you can see that, for example, in this area is more populated, but you might need more transit lines here. Honestly, I'm not sure if the GTFS file was covered up to this area or not, if there are transit lines, bus lines, but let's say if there isn't any, and we need to extend our line here. So you see also there are schools here. So what I'm going to do is just to extend this line to this area. I clean it a little bit, and I select this line, let's say. And what I'm going to do is that, for example, I'm going back from the depot by clicking it. I make it shorter, and then I extend my line by dragging it through this area. Okay, maybe I want still go from this street. That's fine. And then I extend my line up to here. Okay, done. Or maybe I want to see this, goes again. Okay, so the schools are here. I know where the schools, and I want to add also a stop here that the students can take in and take off. So I put 2 stops in both directions, and I assign it to my line routes. And look at the KPI here. You can see that the population, for example, okay, I just lost the population. Just let me add the population again here. So what I'm going to do is to add the population. All right, as an indicator. And you see that in my catchment area, with extending the new line, I could decrease the eventual ridership and the reachability to the people, additionally 2,311 people. Okay. I have some other examples to show the changes in the table that it's also very beneficial for the designers. In the example I have, okay, let's start from the beginning. So I want to show just a timetable here. In line 1 is arbitrary line that I selected, and I can show the line, the timetable of the line to you. You are able to select the appropriate line routes that you have, because sometimes if I go to the map again, you can see that I have different variants. Maybe sometimes I want to see both of them in one timetable, sometimes I want to see separately. So I can either select the timetable for each line route and variants, or see the whole timetable here together. And since it is still not clear for the planner where are the gaps, we have this distribution of the trip for the line, for the trips along the day that you can see in the boundary of 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour per day. You can see the trips. And maybe you can have a big picture here to see that sometimes you have gaps in your service. Maybe this is it is under the decision of the service designer, because we don't have any passenger here, but sometimes there are also gaps. What you can do is just go to the schedule here, and then you can fill the gaps within the timetable by changing maybe sometimes some simple things here. I should search for Saturday. So we are Saturday here. Oh, this is a long list. And let's see if I could improve it by filling the gap here and here. Yeah, it works. So you see that I fill the gap here by extending the trip time, or changing the frequency could also help. All right. So let's go back to the big picture that we had. And another important functionality I want to show you is the accessibility analysis. In the accessibility analysis, we can see how far can people come or go from a specific point through your transit lines. By putting, let's say we start from the middle of Rome, we start the accessibility, and here you can see that you can define the direction if this point would be the departure or the arrival point of your travel. You can select a day on the week, and you can select the start time. This configuration considers all the timetables you have in your service. You can also define the maximum travel time. It can be 280 minutes. And you can choose the number of transfers, how often your passengers might change their lines. What you can also add is indicators, for example, the population that can be covered within 90 minutes or 80 minutes or 20 minutes. What I'm going to do is also here again at the population. Okay, this is this one. And I zoom in a little bit to show the start point that I have selected is considering all the stops around this start point within the catchment area of each stop. So based on your transport system, you can have different catchment area. For bus, for example, you can have 300 meter, meaning that people from this point will walk 300 meter to each stop, and then they would eventually take this stop and travel. Okay, you see that we have already the result. There is some error here. I might decrease the travel time. Maybe we get the population. Okay, it takes also a while a little bit, but at least I have, okay, it's still not working, but I have my accessibility isochrones, which is showing that people within 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and 60 minutes can reach these areas. I might try again by putting the population again here, from population out and from population in again. Okay, it doesn't want to work, doesn't matter. So look at the isochrones here. I'll just zoom out a little bit. So you can see that from this point, people can reach almost the whole network, even within 60 minutes. I can reallocate my start points and analyze accessibility also from suburbs that I want. Okay, suddenly it's working. You see that the population is also calculated here. And yeah, you see that even from this suburb, people can access to the city center within 60 minutes. If I change it from this point to this, you can also see that it's calculated actually very fast. And it's also very good accessible from these suburbs. One example that I had was this area. I was looking this morning to that area, and I was seeing that actually the accessibility is not quite connected to the city center. So I was analyzing a little bit. I'm not expert in Rome, but I was wondering why can this area be connected from this point? It's not so far. And I was zooming in a little bit and saying, okay, this is within the 200 meter, let's say, people can transfer from this point to this point. And I was looking at the lines here. Okay, we have also lines which are going from this direction to that direction. What I could also do is the connection analysis. For that, I go to this and I select the stops that I want to see the connection between them. One of the line 9 is this circular line that you saw. It was not connected to my network. And you see that I have very regular trips here. What I don't have is on line 712, I don't have regular trips here. I was wondering why, because I had the stops. You see, even later, I don't have any trip here. This diagram shows you how are the trips on this stop. And I went to the detail and I saw that this line is not stopping here. You see that the stop is colored here, but here they are not colored. So I tried to connect them to the network and saying my stops are waiting. I will have stop on this line here. And you see that the isochrone is calculated. I don't need anything. So you see that if I increase the travel time, you see that this area is also now connected. So this is really good functionality to see if your network is connected or not, or you have some gaps in the services you have. A very new function that we have just introduced to our line is also the OD visualization. Origin destination data, if you have, is really helpful to see that where are people coming and going. We had a model in Rome, so I tried to import the OD relations, and if I set the filter, you can here easily recognize. I'm not sure if it's correct or not. Maybe the model is not good calibrated, but if your data is correct, you can see that where are the most travels happening. And then you can improve your service in that area. You can also see the whole relations. I'm not sure if it would help you, but at least you can see the most travels by filtering your OD data a little bit. So you can recognize here that most of the travels has happened in this area and this area. You can define different times and import them. Like I had the 6 p.m. and I can also show the 8 a.m. relations. And this is really useful to have the OD relations with accessibility and connection analysis all together in one tool, and also having the GIS data like the social economic data, POI, to have a good platform for making the decisions. It's not only to enable you to readjust your network easily and your timetable, it is a tool that lets you see everything together in one tool. Okay, I would say I stop here because I want to also have time for the question. I will be happy to answer all the questions. So, Veronica, do we have any question in the chat, or if somebody wants?
No, not at the moment, but I see that someone has raised the hand, so I will give the chance to speak to. Wait, I have to find it. Okay, Eleni Papatsikou. I'll allow her to speak. Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I was wondering if we can estimate the runtime of the lines between the stops based on the congested travel times of the network, or specific travel times that we want to use. For example, if we run the service and we want to see, we run it through a new bus lane and we want to see the new metrics of the line.
You can, if I understood the question correctly, you want to see if you can define the runtime based on the schedule that you have already.
No, based on the congested travel times of the network.
Congestion. Okay.
Yes.
What we offer here is the calculate runtime based on the street time, street type, and the speed limit. I'm not sure if, of course, we can also have the possibility to show the congestion rush hours. So you can go one detail further and calculate the real runtime and the specific time. We didn't put it here. We had the data, we have the functionality to put it here, but actually we waited for the request, and if it's interesting for you, we can consider it.
I think it's interesting because there is a fluctuation between peak hours and off-peak hours, and during peak hours in the city center, the travel time may be much more than the one coming from the speed limits.
Yeah. If you have this information, if you have your supply with rush hour and normal time, you can import it here, either per GTFS format or version file, then the data are input. So you will have different variants for rush hour within your line. That's also possible if you have the data. What we have here is to calculate the runtime based from here data. This is not yet implemented, but we could implement. But if you have the data, you can import it and it will be one by one imported as a variant, like peak time variant or normal time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I can see another raised hand, Enrica Mauro, so I'll allow her to speak. Oh, wait. I'm trying to activate her microphone, but I don't know why it's not working. Maybe she wants to write the question down. I don't know. Down. I don't know.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Farnaz, for the presentation. Very interesting. I have two questions. The first, if in the KPI, you can also count the cost of the changing of the routes that it's possible to do.
You can calculate the time, the cost per time and per distance.
Okay.
We have the configuration here per transport system. For example, here per bus, you can say that how much per cost and how much per hour your service might cost. And then it will be multiplied. This is what actually I forgot to mention. Based on the, you can calculate it for 1 day, or you can calculate it for X time, periodic time. In this case, the costs are calculated for your services along 1 year. But you can adjust it to say that you want to calculate it, let's say, for 1 week by changing the numbers here.
Understand. And then I wanted to ask you if you have a specific route that you want to analyze, beginning from point A and ending in point Z. If you can calculate the best scenario possible for one-way route.
For one route.
Yeah.
What is your criteria for the best? With the lowest cost or with depends.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I have to optimize a specific route. What kind of indicators do they optimize my route at the best with PTV Lines?
Currently, we don't have optimization, automatic optimization here. So this is up to you as the service designer to change your network or your trips or your service. The thing that we offer is that you can compare different scenarios that you have together. For example, the scenario I created here, you can compare with another scenario. It was the same scenario, or you can have, I don't know, 5, 6 other scenarios, and then you can see the changes. Okay, I change every line here because I changed the indicator I had for the days, but you can go through line by line and see here what is the difference between service kilometer, what is the difference between the cost and time, and what is the difference between cost per distance for each line in different scenarios. So there is nice comparison here, but no optimization. It's up to you to optimize your line.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Wait, I think there's a question. Okay, from Angelo Notari Stefano. We know that the implementation of the assignment. Oh, wait, more questions are coming. Wait. We know that the implementation of the assignment algorithm is planned based on origin destination metrics for the calculation of the loading on buses. Is it confirmed for June 2024?
It is planned for Q3. I'm not sure if June is the exact time for for the release, but we are working on it. But you are right, it will be the next step that we do. We do the assignment, we do the time series and the ODE relations, and you can see the assignment for the on your lines.
Do you want to show the roadmap for the next developments? I mean,
yeah.
just as a follow-up to this question.
Yes, that's good point. We can.
Might be interesting.
I need to jump a little bit. Sorry, there are the slides that you're not interested in. So, okay, about the assignment, this is the rough idea of what we are going for the assignment. We will have the schedule-based assignment to the public transit lines. And about the roadmap, you see that it has been already done. Then next step will be the configuration of the assignment based on the time series that we have. And then you will have a nice dashboard which is showing the cost and also the benefit, which is in this case demand, and compare it very nice with each other. And yeah, also customizing the map style would be also one small issue that we are working on to show the to have a better visualization of the stops. Also the satellite bit, but other styles will come. And what we will have is, I think exactly this is what you can see, that the passenger kilometer is around Q3. And we will show also parallel lines. We will have the collaboration, which is view only, so you can share the scenarios with your stakeholders so that they are not able to edit your scenario. And we have many other things on the roadmap, onboarding and alighting analysis, but also commenting and vehicle scheduling. Exact number of vehicles is also on the roadmap on 2025.
Okay, thanks. Maybe maybe someone had a question that we could anticipate with this. Then we have another question that about the data source. You mentioned the OD metrics. May I ask which data source you used to create it? Was it ticketing data, people counting sensor, manual survey, and if you have an accuracy level for it, and if so, how did you validate the accuracy?
I took it from Visum model. I don't know what was the resource of the OD matrices, and it's still, again, it's very generic, depend on the data source that you have. The creation of the matrix is not happening in lines. This is what you should do. It can be based on the different resources, sources. It can be ticket data, but also count data. What you import here is, I just maybe show it to you. What you do is you import the data as GeoJSON, their background data. They can be points or zones. And then you assign, you can say that to which property of your background data, your OD data are related. For example, if you have ID, you can say that you have from to. This is a very simple file, CSV file, which is saying from zone or point to zone or point. And then you have further columns for the number of passengers or computers. And you upload the data here and visualize it. And this is the thing that is taken also for the assignment. So it's very generic CSV file, which shows the matrix.
Okay, I don't see any more questions for the moment. So I guess we are almost out of time, so it was a pretty perfect timing, to be honest. But again, if you have any more questions, then feel free to contact us, and we can follow up on this. And we'll probably plan another webinar for May. I don't know the topic yet. And in the meantime, for all the Italian customers, we're going to host our Innovation Day in Naples in April. So if you want to join us, and also Farnaz will be there as well. So if you want to ask some questions about lines face to face, you can do that. So sign up to the event and keep following us on our channels to learn of any new webinars in the coming months. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Farnaz, for the interesting presentation, and have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for having time for us. Bye-bye.